So Costa Rica, why do I take students on trips to Costa Rica? This is not the first time that I personally have been to Costa Rica. I went as a student, actually, when I was a freshman in college, and then went about 10 years later, and then had an opportunity this time around to go with Dr. Erin McLaughlin and take a group of 16 students to Costa Rica to study specifically fair trade. And I think what the students really got out of this experience was the chance to visit some local farms, so some fair trade, organic, sustainable farms where there are co-ops involved, where they could see how it benefited the community, or they were told how what they did at these co-ops benefited the community, whether it be through education of children in the local community or through different events or community kind of programs that they would have. And then we also had the opportunity to visit some other larger places like Dole, for example. And although Dole does follow some of the fair trade principles, it was interesting, I think, for the students to absorb the fact that deforestation happened when Dole brought in those their banana plantation. So there are a lot of different kinds of things that don't happen in a larger kind of production. For example, sustainability and improving the community and improving education that happens in these smaller co-ops that are either fair trade certified or are community-oriented co-ops that work, which are small farmers together and make decisions together in regards to their business.
Before traveling to Costa Rica, I was really all about fair trade. I loved the concept behind it. I thought it was really helpful for all these people in need. And it wasn't until we actually reached Costa Rica and I started talking with the locals and interacting and asking questions on, do you know what fair trade does? Do you know about it? And I was surprised that nobody really seemed to know what fair trade really was. So I kind of questioned myself, how transparent is fair trade? Is it really transparent at all?
Coming into the class, I really didn't understand what fair trade was, but then after learning about it in the classroom and seeing it in person in Costa Rica, it really put into perspective the values and the morals behind fair trade. I loved everything we did there, the zip lining and hiking the volcano, all the adventurous things, but I really did love seeing the different plantations of the coffee beans and the banana farm and seeing what fair trade really meant to those workers.
For me, Costa Rican is in 3 words: no army, supporting a lot of people with a strong middle class, and a lot of conservation, not just for us, also for the rest of the world to follow us. Like one small country with no army have attained high levels of development, not only for the big class, also for the middle class of this country, and a good example of how much we're trying to protect to preserve this world.
Whether it be that the world is a much larger place than they had ever really imagined because they had never traveled before, or that they're actually able to see poverty, they're able to see communities that are struggling, they're able to see different ways that people work and people live. And by absorbing that, they can come away with something, either, you know what, there is something that I want to be involved in to make my world a better place, or I now have knowledge around a bigger world than where I just came from.